Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. This is going to be a very exciting discussion. I am Lana Feng with Huma.Ai. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Anders, who is the Chief Digital and Information Officer at Novo Nordisk. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Anders, would you like to do a short introduction of you?
Happy to do that. Yes, Lana, I'm the Chief Digital and Information Officer in Novo Nordisk. And Novo Nordisk is a leading company in the diabetes and obesity space, headquartered out of Denmark, but being a worldwide company leading in those areas. I been in Novo Nordisk in this position for the last 5 years right now.
Great. So today we're going to talk about AI and generative AI. I think it's a favorite topic for both of us. So from the what Novo Nordisk put out, the company is quite forward thinking and in terms of how to leverage AI and more recently generative AI to really kind of accelerate, bring life-saving medicine to patients. So I'm going to start by asking a really high-level question, right? So how do you see this new wave of AI, generative AI, could impact the pharma industry? How is it going to accelerate developing life-saving drugs?
I think it's actually going to have a quite high impact, no doubt. I mean, AI, machine learning, has been around for many, many years. And of course, we have explored that in many parts of the value chain. What we see happening now with the GenAI is the ability to put it in the hands of much more large portions of our employees, and that's going to play a vital role. So I see it very optimistic. I think we're going to see different sort of use cases. If I start in one corner, I think we're going to see knowledge workers in general, office workers, if you like. They're going to benefit from GenAI in our daily life, whether it's about creating a marketing campaign, it's about summarizing information, about writing a memo, maybe make a PowerPoint presentation. So they're going to be a lot of value for knowledge workers to help them creating documents of various sort and really speeding up that. Also speeding up consuming of information. I mean, you can take a very, very simple use case. Let's assume you're missing an important meeting that is recorded, and you can get the transcript, you can get a summary of the actions, the key points, and you have a 5-minute read rather than going through the whole 2 hours sort of recording. So for sure, for general knowledge workers, you're going to see a tremendous sort of efficiency gain. You're going to have other communities like, well, we might not have many of them in pharma, but we still have people developing software. And I think we can see a tremendous improvement in efficiency in developing and testing software. So that's another use case. And then, of course, you can go to much more specific sort of use cases in the drug discovery phase, where we can go quicker from ideas to validated targets. You can probably cut lead times from months to weeks by sorting information, understanding, creating a better understanding of the information that you have at hand. If you're moving on into the clinical trials, I mean, today the data that we generate in clinical trials is just enormous, and it starts to be beyond the human capability to actually sort and understand and digest all of that data. So can you have AI, GenAI help you to create summaries, structures into that wealth of information, all those biomarkers, all that information you're getting from different sort of angles? That certainly will also help you in creating much more high quality output of the clinical trials. And then, of course, to then summarize that data into a submission to authorities, that's a huge work today that can also be automatized in a large degree. And then final phase, maybe in the value chain, I mean, you're going to target patient or doctors and other people. And can you, based on AI algorithms, can you zoom in on more likely healthcare professionals or even directly to patients where you can target your value proposition, that's certainly going to have a lot of value to patient and of course the pharma industry. So I see a very broad use case, from maybe more generic for knowledge workers to more specific in different sort of parts of the value chain.
That's great. That's great. So awesome overview. So we actually work quite a bit with medical groups within pharma. So I'd love to kind of double click it a little bit, maybe take like one of the functionalities from the entire value chain. Would love to hear your opinion on sort of this, sitting medical, how is it going to really accelerate, right? Automate a lot of the knowledge worker within medical to help with strategy, to help with HCP engagements, what have you.
Today, the drug discovery phase is very time consuming. It's difficult to simulate. You're drowning in a lot of data. You basically trial and error. You make targets, you test them, you verify them in your labs. I mean, with modern robots, you can do much more testing, but you need to be able to analyze the data and digest the data, and thereby you can go much faster to a set of sort of pre-validated targets that you can then bring into the final sort of process to verify them. So that's sort of simulation in the early phases to going into the lab and get a reduced number of pre-validated targets that you can bring into the process. That's going to be really both driving innovation, because you're going to have more opportunity to discover new molecules or combinations, but also bringing it faster to into the clinical trial phases.
Such a great point. That was a great use case. Think about, pharma companies were traditionally developing medicine, right? So software is in a very supportive role, if you will, right? But now with GenAI, right? So I think pharma industry is going to maybe get more software engineers, right? Because you did bring up software is going to become this integral part of how we bring life-saving drugs to market to patients.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, when we go to the market for the future, I would expect us to, in many cases, add digital and data components to the drug components, meaning we have a more of a holistic offer to our patients. So yes, for sure, we're also going to add that into our product portfolio, no doubt.
Great. I'd like to ask my next question, right? So this actually comes from a lot from the public domain, right? The generative AI, GenAI, is coming for your jobs, right? Particularly, white collar knowledge workers, and in life sciences, when we're talking to clients, there's definitely that fear there. I'd love to kind of hear your take.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can fully understand the question. I mean, we see reports on efficiency gains, 15 to 25% for office workers, 50% for software developers, and so on and so forth. So do I see that? Do we see that as a threat? No, not necessarily. I think if you go back to any technology shift in history, that has only led to continuous sort of evolution of the mankind, if you like. And what typically happens, yes, you gain some efficiency, but you're putting that into play in other parts. So, and particularly in a field like pharma, where at least for Novo Nordisk, the opportunities are quite high. I mean, we have many opportunities to deploy, and I mean, in our sort of daily life, we actually prioritize quite hard on what medicines we can afford to investigate, and if we can free up capacity, we can have more innovation capacity. I'm quite convinced we're gonna just put that into use to try to discover more medicine, to drive it to the market stage. So I wouldn't be at all concerned about future employment. I think we're going to see a lot of opportunities to continue to develop and deliver value to our patients.
Great. Thank you so much, Anders Romare, CDIO of Novo Nordisk, for joining me today. That was a fantastic discussion on the exciting topic. Please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews.
Thank you very much, Lana. It was a pleasure.